Mayong buntag kaninyo tanan. Good morning to you all. I think I'll have a triple mission today because Kamentong Laurel was confined to a hospital yesterday. Nothing serious, but at our age, we have to be very careful. Let me first introduce the institution that I belong to. And this is the Asian Century Philippines Institute for Strategic Studies. Kami po ay isang registered non-profit organization serving a low-profile think tank dedicated to providing consultancy services. We publish knowledge products, research, and strategic studies in the areas of governance and policy, development work, socio-cultural, economics, politics, and especially geopolitics, to disseminating knowledge products through print, broadcast, and social media. I have a special umbilical cord to Davao City because of your mayor, si Tatay Digong. During the previous administration, we functioned as an institute that provided pro bono services for good governance in 3 fields. First, as subject matter experts in promoting an independent foreign policy, especially in issues involving the South China Seas and evolving a multipolar world. Concepts championed by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, or what is now known as the BRICS countries. Asian Century was used to be known when we were still unregistered as PhilBRICS. It also served as a critical reviewer for the National Task Force for the Elimination of Communist Armed Conflict, the Bangsamoro Peace Process, and the war of President Duterte against drugs. Finally, it assisted in promoting transparency and accountability in the Duterte government through development-oriented broadcast journalism using a no-holds-barred flagship program entitled The Unfinished Revolution. Siguro prophetic, ano po, since September 21 is just a few days away. And hopefully, we will be able to finish the revolution. Daily po yan. From prime time 4 to 7 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays, and 8 to 10 Sundays over Radio Filipinas DZRB for 5 years from June 2017 to June 2022. We are proud to claim that because of this program, Radio Filipinas made it to the top 10 for 4 consecutive years, from top 3 to top 7, something that has never been achieved by a government radio station. Ang amin pong Unfinished Revolution outrated the 3 Tulfo programs also at DZRB. I had the pleasure of knowing June Ledesma Sabi nga niya, when we had this orientation tour to Shanghai, Suzhou, Shandong, and Beijing 10 years ago in September 2015. So para pong homecoming ito para sa atin. We are fighting the real thing that this country needs. Sabi nga ng ating patriarch, si Digong Duterte, real change. But as we speak, mukhang ang iniwanan po sa atin, ang iiwanan sa atin ni Marcos ay hindi real change, kung hindi loose change. Barya. Ladies and gentlemen, on August 11, Philippine Coast Guard ship BRP Suluan, in violation of the principle of innocent passage, trespassed into the territorial sea of Scarborough Shoal. Wow! Napakalakas na statement niyan. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, lahat ng mga troll ng Malacanang ang tawag sa akin ay traidor. Lalong-lalo na yung star witness ko ngayong umaga na ipapakita ko dito sa PowerPoint presentation natin. When will the Philippines stop proxying for the U.S. rule-based order and obey international law? Two Chinese vessels, a naval destroyer and a Coast Guard, chased the BRP Suluan. In the process, the Philippines violated the International Collision Regulation, called REGS for short, when it executed a maneuver kill, causing the Chinese Coast Guard corvette to collide with the PLA Navy destroyer. The PCG confirmed that the location was, PCG po ito, report, 0830 hour, 11 August 2025, at latitude 15 degrees, 02.8 minutes, longitude 118 degrees, 11.3 degrees east, or vicinity of 10.5 nautical miles, 10.5 nautical miles east-southeast of Bajo de Masinloc or Scarborough Shoal. In other words, 1.5 nautical miles within the 12 nautical mile Scarborough's territorial sea. The incident, which has not been acknowledged officially by the Chinese state media, allegedly resulted in the death of 2 Chinese mariners and dealt a 10-meter deep damage to the bow of the CCG vessel. Chinese experts have repeatedly blamed the Philippines for the collision, asserting that Manila should cover the cost of unspecified damages. Can we show the first slide, please? Yan po ang innocent passage. Libre po ang any nationality vessel to even enter the territorial sea of another state Pero pagpasok po nila, kailangan dire-diretso palabas. Ano po ang ginagawa ng Philippine Coast Guard? More than 90 nautical miles from our own territorial sea and within 1.5 nautical miles of Scarborough Shoal. Ang sabi nila, nagbibigay daw sila ng supplies para sa mga fishermen natin. So they are admitted na pumapayag ang China na mangisda ang ating mga fisher folk sa loob ng Scarborough Shoal Territorial Sea. Hindi po ba? Dahil nandun sila. So ano itong kinakalat nilang propaganda na hinaharas daw ng mga Chino ang fishermen natin, natahasan namang dinideny ng mayor mismo ng Masidlok at saka na mas marami pang hindi bayad na mangingisda. And the reason we will explain later. So I encourage you to challenge me as to the details of everything I will say here para magkaliwanagan na tayo. Let us not treat this as a press con. Let us treat this as a briefing, as an academic experience para once and for all, dahil hindi namin alam kung kailan kami babalik ng Davao, para maintindihan ninyong lahat kung ano talaga ang nangyayari. Ito po lamang ang violation nila. Ayan, no? They were unloading, supposedly to deliver food, fuel, and other supplies to our fishermen there. So they were unloading commodity in violation of innocent passage. At doon sa letter D, they were engaging in propaganda dahil mismo po sa BRP Suluan at yung kasamang BRP Teresa Magbanwa ay pulong-pulo po ng reporters at TV stations. So they were engaging in propaganda activities. Fishing activities also is bawal. But in Scarborough Shoal, meron po diyang nilabas ang arbitral ruling na pwede dahil traditional fishing grounds yan of many nationalities since time immemorial. Exception. So yung presence ng mga fishermen doon, okay. At yung panguli, any other activities not having a direct bearing on the passage, which is provoking the Chinese Coast Guard into a false start. Sa mga video po ng gitgitan between PCG and CCG, mapapansin ninyo. Next slide. Sapa. Yan. Mapapansin po ninyo kung yung puti ay Coast Guard ship. Lagi pong nasa kaliwa ang Philippine Coast Guard. Sa blue. Nandun po siya sa tinatawag nating port side. Yung kanan naman po, tinatawag natin yan sa International Collision Regulation na starboard side. Pag ikaw ay nasa gitna o nasa kanan, stand on vessel ka. Hindi ka dapat gumalaw. Diretso ka lang. Pag ikaw ay nasa kaliwa, sa blue, kailangan parallel ka lang because you are the giveaway vessel. Baka po dito mayroong mga marino na intindihan nyo ang aking sinasabi. You have to give way to the white. Now, kung perpendicular, you can either go to the right of the white and cross over pag lumampas na yung puti. Or, pwede kayong mag-parallel sa puti, paspasan yung takbo nyo kung gusto nyo umovertake, at pag kayo ay malayo na, saka kayo kumanan. Kasi ang purpose ng call regs ay to avoid collision. Ano po ang modus operandi ng Philippine Coast Guard? At bakit nila ito ginagawa? Ang modus operandi po nila simple lamang. Sabi ko nga kanina, to provoke a false start. Mapapansin nyo na tuwing o-overtake sila, pagdating po nila sa dulo, sa may bow ng Chinese Coast Guard, bigla silang kakat sa harapan ng Coast Guard, fishing for a collision. Try to review all these videos that have been there for more than 2 years. Yung po makikita ninyo. Parang motorsiklo, di ba? Pag overtake sa inyo, motorsiklo sa baykat. So yan po. But what happened on August 11 is something different. Kung titingnan nyo sa kanan, yung black semicircular line, yun po ang ruta ng BRP Suluan. Nasa kanan niya, ang CCG ship. At nasa kanan ng CCG ship, ang People's Liberation Army Navy Destroyer. Yun po ang mga posisyon. Picture yourself on a 3-way highway. Nasa kaliwa, kayo nasa gitna, at may truck dito sa kanan. Bigla pong nag-U-turn ang BRP Suluan. So ano mangyayari dito? Hindi susunod. At baka mabangga yung truck, di po ba? Dahil biglang-bigla, nag-U-turn siya, as shown by the illustration. Ngayon, ito po ang animation ng collision incident by AI based on the satellite feed. Yung pumputi, ang Philippine Coast Guard. At dyan yung makita kung bakit nabangga ng CCG, yung PRA destroyer. Ayan po. Ito po ang damage. Yung next slide. Kung makikita nyo sa upper left hand, may ibinababa pong rubber protection yung dalawang tripulante ng Chinese Coast Guard. Ayun po. That is called a fender. Pagkababa po nila yan in 2 seconds, nagkaroon na ng kolisyon. Nabuhay kaya yan dalawang yan? Most probably, hindi po. Ang damage sa CCG vessel, ayun, 10 meter, umurong yung bow niya. Yung forecastle niya, yung pinakadulong umurong, ayun po. At doon naman, saan bumangga yun? Dito po sa destroyer, ayun, nakabilog, yung damage marks. Pero officially, ang China, quiet lang po. Dahil inunahan kagad ng Department of Foreign Affairs ng statement that the Philippines bear no responsibility for the collision between the Navy destroyer and the Chinese Coast Guard vessel in Bajo de Masinloc. It was an unfortunate outcome, but not one caused by our actions. So, quiet naman ang Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China for any reparations, but was seen likely to strain relations between Manila and Beijing. "16 days later, on August 27, Bloomberg reported that Taiwan's foreign minister, Lin Chia-hing, visited the Philippines as part of a U.S.-Taiwan Economic Council meeting with certain Philippine officials." Hindi ho nyo ito naririnig sa mainstream media. In a hearing in the Senate Committee of Foreign Affairs, Senator Jaime Marcos confronted Secretary Lazaro about this report. The Department of Foreign Affairs said she had no official knowledge of the protocol violation, but requested for an executive session to explain details. In other words, may mga detalya po na ayaw nilang ipagpaalam sa publiko. As a result, 2 days after, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a strongly worded response to the effect that Taiwan independence is red line issue with mainland China, because this is in violation of the One China principle, hurting China-Philippine ties. This once again reflects the serious lack of credibility, sabi ng Chinese spokesperson, of the Philippine government. Dahil probinsya lamang po under the One China policy ang Taiwan ng People's Republic of China, and any violation of that will be considered as a threat to the national security of mainland China. China's spokesperson correctly pointed this out, as this is not an isolated case. Indeed, the build-up started from April 1 pa. August 27 po ito, when General Romeo Browner, Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, was caught on video telling troops to prepare themselves for the invasion of Taiwan. Climaxed by a series of events leading to Philippine President Marcos's visit to India as recent as August 6, where BBM said, to be very practical about it, if there is no confrontation over Taiwan, if there is a confrontation between Taiwan, between China and the United States, sa bibig po ng Pangulo nangyari yan. There is no way that the Philippines can stay out of it simply because of our physical geographic location. Kayo po ba ay naniniwala dyan? Na simply because of geography, tayo ay madadamay sa gera. Gusto po namin malaman. Dahil ang Davao po ay nakaslate under EDCA to be the site and the deployment for the drone manufacturing of the United States of America. Alam po ba ninyo na kayo ay nakatalaga na to be the drone center in the Indo-Pacific for manufacturing and deployment of US drones? Meron po bang nagsasabi sa inyo niyan? Kung hindi, you are informed accordingly. So ano sabi ng China? Stop playing with fire on the issues concerning China's core interests, and stop sending any wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces. Bakit kailangan humalo si Bongbong Marcos sa mga usapin ito? But at the end, it issued a stern warning. The Philippines must not underestimate the firm resolve of the Chinese people to safeguard our sovereignty, according to the spokesperson, and territorial integrity. There is a price to pay for trampling on China's red line, and all consequences arising therefrom will be borne by the Philippines. Hindi po nagsasalita ang China ng ganito. Because ang priority nila, economics. More than 150 countries have already joined the Belt and Road Initiative of China. Even the Sahel governments of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso in Africa are already building the first bullet train in Africa. Can you imagine that? Naunahan pa tayo ng Burkina Faso. I will bet you, ni isa sa inyo, hindi nyo maituturo ang Burkina Faso sa mapa. Dahil napakalayo natin ito eh. Di ba? So last December, China sanctioned 7 companies over U.S. military assistance to Taiwan. At ano ang prognosis ng Asia Century Pacific na gagawin ng China sa Pilipinas? Ito po ang aming prognosis on what they meant by price to pay. And we had this in August, September na po ngayon. As a minimum, calibrate the economic sanctions like reduction of imports. Tama na naman ang Davao. Dahil ang unang imports na tatamaan yan ay yung, kung hindi yung pineapple nyo, ay yung banana nyo o yung durian. Kaya po kami nagpunta dito para buksan ang inyong mga mata at inyong mga pandinig para maging aware kayo kung saan na isinubo ni Bongbong Marcos ang Davao hanggang sa pineapple ng Bukidnon. Ang Mindanao. Alam niyo po ba na nagsara na ang Del Monte? 33,000 employees ang nawalan ng trabaho. Bakit po? Dahil sa 19% tariff. Ang sinafactor lang po ng Del Monte, bawat isang lata ng pineapple ay 5%. So, pag dinagdagan nyo ng 14%, lugi-lugi na sila. So, they might as well stop producing. Pangalawa, pull out Meyer BRP Sierra Madre from Mayungin Shore. At nagkaroon ng konting skirmish dahil dumami yung mga militia vessels ng China doon. Akala ni Browner, hihilahin na ng China yung bulok na kalawang doon. Pero hindi naman yun ang ginawa. As a maximum, pursue a no-exception enforcement of innocent passage in the South China Sea, to the extreme of declaring the entire area as an air and naval defense identification zone. Why? Because as far as the Philippines is concerned, buong-buo ang conviction ni Marcos that we are already at war with China over Taiwan. Pero anong ginawa ng China? Number 3, proceed with its postponed planned installations at Scarborough Shoal. Alam po ninyo, matagal na ito na plano ng China 9 years ago pa na ang Scarborough Shoal ay gawing isa number 9 sa mga 8 o 7 inukupan nilang islands at ginawang fortifications para sa military. But in the case of Scarborough Shoal, naglagay sila ng isang tourism component because of the nature of the feature. A few days ago, what China announced was far from what the U.S. intelligence leaked to the Washington Free Beacon 9 years ago. They are building a nature reserve. A protected area that is primarily focused on long-term conservation of species and natural processes to preserve ecosystems, plants, animals, with human access and recreation, usually restricted to allow for scientific research and education. It serves as a crucial refuge for endangered species and protects natural landscapes from the human impact. Pakita natin yung slide kung saan nila gagawin yon sa Scarborough Shoal. Sa bandang northeast ng Scarborough Shoal, sa bandang tuktok, gagawa sila doon. Bakit po? Para i-enhance pa yung activity doon sa loob ng lagoon. Ano po ba yung lagoon ng Scarborough Shoal? Yung po ay internal waters ng Scarborough Shoal that is used for pangingitlog ng mga isda. Pumapasok po ang mga isda dyan. Hindi, yung next slide, please. Yung tungkol doon sa nature reserve. Yan. Yung pula at berde. No? Yan po, 3,500 hectares yan. the Chinese name for coral reef ecosystem. At dyan po magbe-base ang China's National Forestry and Grassland Administration. No? In other words, ang gagawin dyan ng China is for the service of humankind, for economic and marine research. And this, ang hope ng China dito is that many other nations who have claims in the South China Sea, like the Philippines, minention doon kanina piniplay namin video, yung Manila Forum, nandun po si former General Hermogenes Esperon. Ang sabi niya doon, dahil binalita ko sa kanya ito, aba, ay dapat gawin din natin yan sa Pag-asa Island. Unfortunately, General Esperon is not a member of this government. Ang nagko-call po ng shots ngayon sa national security ay si Ed Anyo. But it remains a pie in the sky. Mag-sharing po ako ng kaunti. Alam nyo, I am endlessly excited about this. And you should be too. Because in 1990, upon invitation of then Kalibo Mayor Allen Kimpo, I joined a group of local government officials and students in the ceremonial tree planting at Barangay New Buswan. Nagtalaga po kami ng 500 square meter. Malaki lang po ng kaunti dito. Pwede lang isama yung restaurant. Ganyan kalaki lamang po. The 500 square meter experimental mangrove and demonstration plot, what we accomplished that day. Nagtusok po kami ng mga bakawan. Nilagay po namin tinanay namin yung mga bakawan at bawat metro, tali na naman ang isang bakawan. At nilatag po namin yun para diretsyo at itinutusok lang po yun. Sa isang 500 square meter lot. Patay na po si former Mayor and former Congressman Allen Kimpo. But today, the Bakawan Nature Study and Eco Park is now 220 hectares. Kaya po, excited ako dito na nakita ko na epekto. Well, in November 2013, years after kami nagtusok-tusok doon. While nearby provinces were ravaged by tsunamis caused by Super Typhoon Yolanda, Haiyan, Aklan was spared because the thick mangrove outgrowth shielded the most populated and vulnerable northeast portion of the province from the catastrophic storm surge. Eh, dyan lang po sa experience na nakakataba na ng puso, di ba? Na somehow, even indirectly and far distance earlier in history, aba, ay siguro miski na 10 aklanon ay nailigtas ko sa mga pagtusok-tusok ko lamang ng Bakawan. Dahil 220 hectares na po siya kayo. At yung Eco Park today is considered one of the most popular tourist attractions in Panay Island. Its centerpiece of the Eco Park is a mile-long bamboo trail na gumaganon po sa loob ng Bakawan hanggang makarating doon sa dagat. 1 mile ang lalakarin nyo. O bali 2 miles dahil kailangan bumalik kayo. Ano po ang nandoon ngayon? Deep into the mangrove forest has become a home to different species of mangrove trees. Nanganak pa ng mga ibang species. Siguro, dumating through the air, ano po, yung mga seeds, o dala ng mga, eto na, a sanctuary of various types of birds and marine species. At nag-establish na po sila doon ng Center for International Mangrove Studies. Dapat ito i-replicate sa Leyte, sa Surigao. Yung po mga areas na vulnerable to tsunami. Pero, the Department of Foreign Affairs formally lodged a diplomatic protest to air its strong and unequivocal objection to China's plan, while another top official claimed that it would create a pretext for the future's eventual occupation by China. National Security Advisor Eduardo Año said that Beijing's move was less about protecting the environment and more about justifying its control over a maritime feature that is part of the territory of the Philippines. Ang dating po sa ating mga government officials, parang aso. At indeed, aso na nga sila ng Estados Unidos. Bakit? Ang aso po, territorial. Hindi nyo ba napansin ng aso? Bago tumingin, amoy yan. Pupunta yan. And usually sa goma ng kotse nyo pupunta dahil mapanghi yung goma ng kotse nyo, may amoy. At doon siya i-jingle. Idideklara niya sa kanyang pag-jingle na yun ay teritoryo niya. Ganyan po ang aso. Kanino ba talaga ang Scarborough Shoal? Pakinggan po natin ang spokesperson mismo ng Philippine Coast Guard para malaman natin kung sino ang may soberanya sa Scarborough Shoal.
Right after the Scarborough Shoal standoff, we totally lost control of Bajo de Masinloc. Since 2012 until now, it passing through three presidential administration from the time President Aquino, President Duterte, now President Bongbong Marcos. It is already an open book that the Chinese Coast Guard has a complete control of Bajo de Masinloc.
Complete control of Bajo de Masinloc since 2012. Paano nangyari yun? Nagkaroon po ng standoff in 2012 habang naglalayag ang BRP Gregorio del Pilar, isang destroyer na naman natin sa Estados Unidos. Siya po ay nag-aresto ng 8 Chinese fishing vessels. Binoard po ng Philippine Navy armed with Armalites ang mga Chino. Pinagtanggal ng mga kamiseta, pinaghubad kasi baka raw may mga armas. Pero ang bilis kumilos ng mga Chino. Ang layo nila sa gitna ng dagat. Pero nakapagpadala kagad ng selfie ng mga picture sa mainland. And habang nagdidirian doon ang mga barkong Chino at Pilipino, nakarating na po ang balita sa mga taong bayan ng China at rinesyon na ang gobyerno. Anong ginawa ng Pilipinas? Nagkaroon ng standoff. Maharang. Dahil may mga dumating na Coast Guard ng China at militia vessels. Imbis na tawagan lamang po ni Noynoy Aquino si Hu Jintao na presidente noon ng China, inutusan niya si Secretary Albert de Rosario na tawagan ang ating ambassador sa Washington, D.C. para tawagan ang State Department ng Amerika. At yung State Department ng Amerika para kausapin ang Ministry of Foreign Affairs ng China. Nakapaglaro na ba kayo ng telephone game? Ibubulong ko kay ma'am. Yung ibinulong ko, ililipat niyang pa ganun, at punter, iikot yan, pa ganun. Pagdating doon sa nakaberde, kay madam, lalapit siya sa akin, para ikumpara ko kung yung binulong ko dito ay yung message na lalabas doon. Nakapaglaro na ba kayo niyan? Ng game na yan? That is called the telephone game. Yan po ang ginawa ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas. Imbis na tumawag lang diretso, hello, Mr. Hu Jintao, may problema tayo, anong gagawin natin? So ang balik ng message, nag-agree daw ang China ng simultaneous withdrawal from Scarborough Shoal. Samantalang, ang kinausap lang ni Ambassador Joey Crisha, who is also a best friend of mine, by the way, ay si Kurt Campbell na Assistant Secretary lamang ng State Department, at ang kinausap ni Kurt Campbell ay si Fu Jing na Assistant Vice Minister lang ng China. At ang sabi sa kanya ni Fu Jing, this is not within my authority, let me consult my higher-ups. Pero nagmamadali si Noynoy ang bumalik na message, simultaneous withdrawal. So the very next day, Del Rosario and Noynoy Aquino ordered the withdrawal of all Philippine forces. Umalis tayo. Yung pong naiwan doon hanggang ngayon, sila pa ang nandun. According to my best friend in social media, Commodore J. Tariela. Siya mismo ang nagsasabi. Ano pa ba yung isang materialis natin dyan, Joshua? Tungkol sa Scarborough Shoal sovereignty. Isang slide pa. Pero yung stand ni Tariela, hindi yan ang stand ng gobyerno natin. Hindi yan ang stand ng Coast Guard. In fact, they had to legislate. Kaya tawag namin po kay Senator Tolentino ay Tonto Tolentino eh. Nag-create po sila ng validating legislation para ang batas natin, ang batas natin ay suportahan kung ano yung kalukuhan na ginagawa ng ating Coast Guard at military. At akala nila matatakot nila ako. Noong June 2, June 5, inibita po ako sa TRICOM. Ito po ang nangyari. Pakinggan po natin.
Paglinawan in his Facebook last May 9, while all of us were very happy for the passage of the Maritime Zones Act, which was signed by the President, according to him, it was a stupid law by Mr. Ado Paglinawan. So we can already fairly judge him based on how he appreciates our fight in the West Philippine Sea with regard to the appreciation of China in our own exclusive economic zone.
Who are the principal authors of that law? Who are the principal authors?
I believe, sir, that majority of you are here or principal authors of the Maritime
Oh
Zones
yeah,
Act.
we approve it in the plenary. Yeah, so we are all stupid. Okay, thank you so much for that.
Mr. Chair, we'd like to find out why Mr. Pagliawan said that that is a stupid law when he is not even a lawyer. Nagbabasa lang siya. Pakipaliwanag nga nyo sa amin, Mr. Chinese man, kung bakit tinawag niyong stupid law yung pinirmahan ng ating
Chinese man
Pangulo.
daw ako.
Mr. Chairman,
You are recognized, Mr. Ado.
the Maritime Zones Law, Section 1 and Section 2, Paragraph B. The maritime zones of the Philippines on the western side of the Philippine archipelago, including the Luzon Sea and the territorial seas of Bajo de Masinloc, and maritime features of the Kalayaan Island Group shall be called the West Philippine Sea. Unang-una po,
Can you just tell us briefly, Mr. Pagliawan, bakit mo tinawag na stupid law?
ito nga po, papunta na po ako doon.
Puntahan nyo na ngayon. Wala na po
Unang-una
tayong
po,
panahon.
Hindi po pwedeng maging subject ng internal law ang pag-create ng territorial sea. Ang territorial sea po ay kini-create ng land sovereignty.
Salamat po. Maraming salamat
Okay,
po.
we will be proceeding to the next item of our agenda.
Pinutol na.
So, punta na po tayo doon.
Ayaw nilang marinig ang katotohanan. Ang nag-create ng territorial sea, the sovereignty in a territorial sea is an extension of the sovereignty of the fact of the land territory. So kung sino may-ari ng land territory, that according to the arbitral ruling, is a subset of an island called Rock, entitled siya sa 12 nautical miles. So kung sino may-ari ng Scarborough Shoal, siya may-ari ng territorial sea. And according to customary law, occupation, the administration and effective control of a given territory exercises sovereignty. So sino ang may-ari ng Scarborough Shoal? Pilipinas ba? Hanggang ngayon, wala pa ako nakikita ni isang dokumento na nagpapatunay na sa atin ang Scarborough Shoal. At noong December 2024, nakita nyo kanina yung mga charts doon sa kanan nung mapa ng Scarborough Shoal, nakita nyo yung naka-chart? Yung po ang baselines na sinamit ng China sa United Nations noong December, together with the charts and supporting papers. At pag yun po ay na-publish sa UN website, tapos yung de facto possession nila ngayon and sovereign exercise of sovereignty will become by international law de jure legal na. Tayo ba nakapag-survey na ng Scarborough Shoal? Hindi pa. Tayo ba nag-uukupa ng Scarborough Shoal? Hindi po. Nakapag-submitin na ba tayo ng miskin na sa United Nations tungkol sa so-called pag-aari natin ng Scarborough Shoal? Hindi pa po. Ang sinabit po natin doon ay protest doon sa sinabit ng China. Pero hindi naman natin sinabi kung bakit atin yun. Ang pinakamalapit po, pero napakalayo, na sinumiti natin ay yung kalokohan itong si Antonio Carpio. Ay, sorry po, taga Davao din yun. No? Pero medyo po weng-weng na yata eh. Nagsumiti po siya ng isang 1734 Murillo Velarde map. At sa aking research, nalaman ko kung saan niya kinuha yun. Sa isa lamang pong cartography shop sa Glorieta Mall sa Makati. Nabili niya at pumunta na siya sa mga descendants ni Murillo. Pinapirma na niya na authority at yun, nagdala na siya ng napakalaking mapa sa Campanginaldo, napakalaking mapa sa museum, napakalaking mapa sa Malacanang, napakalaking mapa sa Kongreso at Senado. Pero anong objection ni Antonio Carpio sa pag-aari ng China sa buong South China Sea? Sinasabi niya na in-invalidate daw ng arbitral ruling ang 9-9. Hindi ba mapapin yun? Pangalawa, na nakakalungkot. Noong pong Republic Act 95-22 noong 2009, itinikit po nila ang delineation ng baselines ng Pilipinas as close as possible to our coastlines and internal waters. Dinisregard nila yung treaty limits. Pakita natin yung treaty limits ng Pilipinas na nasa teksto ng the Treaty of Paris of 1898, nakatibayan at titulo ng Espanya para sa pagbenta ng Pilipinas sa Estados Unidos noong 1898 for 20 million pieces of silver. Ayan po yung treaty limits na itinatalaga sa letra ng Treaty of Paris na hindi lalampas sa 118 degrees longitude. Yung Scarborough Shoal po is 9 nautical miles sa kaliwa ng treaty limits. Yun po ang problema. At hindi lang siya 9 nautical miles sa kaliwa ng treaty limits. Wala na rin po itong treaty limits natin. Dahil dinikit nila so 12 nautical miles ng Zambales ng coastlines. Bakit hindi nila i-claim ang treaty limits? Dahil mapa na naman yan. Kung yung mapa ng 9-dash line ayaw nilang i-recognize, bakit pinare-recognize ni Antonio Carpio sa atin ang mapa ng 1734, Murillo Velarde map? Goodbye. Alam niyo po na wala sa ating territorial sea dito? Sa treaty limits na ito? Ang una pong Pangulo na nawala ng teritoryo si Marcos Sr. Yung Pugat Island, may birthday yung commander, nang imbita. Ha? Nagpakita ng mga girly-girly na nagsasayaw doon, nagbabarbecue. So from Pugat Island, lumipat sa Southwest Cay ang ating mga sundalo. Pagbalik nila kinabukasan, na hindi na sila lasing, may mga machine gun nest na ang Vietnam. Nawalan po si Marcos Sr. ng teritoryo. Pangalawang nawala ng teritoryo ang presidente ng Pilipinas. Kanina sinabi ko na, si Noynoy Aquino. Nawala sa atin ang Bajo de Masinloc or Scarborough Shoal. Ang pangatlong presidente dahil pinirmahan niya noong November 2024 ang National Maritime Zones Act na nawala ng teritoryo ay si Bobo Marcos. Alam niyo kung ilan ang nawala? 803,000 square kilometers. Hindi ko maisip kung gaano kalaki yan. Of sovereignty, which means pag-aari natin mula sa ilalim ng seabed, hanggang tubig, hanggang ibabaw ng tubig, at ang aerospace above it. Pangatlo, so dalawa na natitimbang sa West Philippine Sea, di po ba? Scarborough Shoal at yung Luzon Sea na sinasabi nila na wala. Ito po ang pangatlong nawala. Ang sabi po, sa paragraph 574 ng 2016 arbitral ruling, walang pwedeng archipelago na ilagay sa Spratly Islands. Yan po ang ruling ng arbitral ruling binding on the Philippines. Kaya po, sa National Maritime Zones Law, ginawa nilang regime of islands, yung about 8 features na kine-claim natin. Kaya yun po sa kanan, entitled to 12 nautical miles lamang sa paligid. Nawala na po yung polygon, yung kwadrado. Wala na po yan. Alam niyo ko ilan yan? 70,000 square kilometers. So congratulations, Mr. President. Hindi mo lang kami ninakawan ng trilyon-trilyon sa national budget para sa iyong flood control. Ano ang suma total nun? Halos 900,000 square kilometers po ang mawawala sa atin pagkayang Republic Act 95-22 at yung National Maritime Zones Act ay hindi na-remedyohan. At yan po, diniscuss na namin sa chairman ng Committee on International Relations na si Amy Marcos. Pero wala pong pag-asa na yan ay mabalik sa atin. At kung tuloy-tuloy natin, na ito-tolerate itong gobyernong ito sa kanyang mga polisiya, wala na pong maiiwan sa ating mga salong lahi. That is why, in front of the TRICOM of the lower house of Congress, I call the National Maritime Zones Act as a stupid law, incorporating such, ano intention ko, into the public record of Congress, sa minutes. My language may not have been respectful, but instead of challenging their spirit of inquiry and shaking the lawmakers into sobriety, they seem resigned to stupidity. Diba? Sa words ni Dan Fernandez, ay stupid tayong lahat. They seem resigned to stupidity, as one of them said, if it is a stupid law, then we are all stupid. I wonder, when will the truth set them free? In conclusion, dahil medyo tayo ay napapahaba, for those who have worked in the diplomatic corps, especially in the United States, like me, na hindi nag-adapt at hindi na-absorb ng liberal democratic principles. Alam ko ang significance ng RAND Corporation sa development of U.S. foreign policy, especially relative to Taiwan. Alam niyo sabi ng RAND Corporation, hindi napapalag ang Taiwan sa China. Bakit? Because of the politics of paralysis. The reunification of Taiwan with the mainland China is maybe 1 or 2 elections away. Why? Isa na lamang po ang lamang ng DPP, yung partido ni Xing Laite, the president. Isa na lang, seat sa parliament nila. So baka sa next election, wala na ang DPP, minority na. At ang Kuomintang Party ay papasok na. And Kuomintang Party may arrangement na with the Communist Party of China for the reunification. Pangalawa, napanood niyo ba yung parada sa China noong September 3? Ito po ang ating hinaharap dyan. Because of that, the Pentagon has already prioritized homeland over China threat. Homeland na lamang, sabi ni Trump, at Western Hemisphere. Wala na tayo sa China threat. Bakit? Ito po ang pinakita. Doon, pakita natin yung island chain. Ito po ang island chain na sinimulan sa 1 and 2 island chain nung panahon ni Dales. Yan po isang yung pumula kasama ang Pilipinas at pangalawa. Yung pangatlo, abot na hanggang Guam. Ito po, they proposed the 4th island chain. Sa Sri Lanka hanggang Gwadar, Pakistan. At yung 5th island chain from Djibouti to Eastern Africa. Yan po ang stratagems ng preparasyon ng tinatawag na ACE ng Estados Unidos. Agile Combat Employment. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yan ang kanilang perimeter of deterrence against China. Ito naman po, ang susunod na slide, ang Dongfeng missile technology na noong pang 1984 ay ito na po ang chart nila. At makikita ninyo na sa missile technology ng China, maaaring noon may napagdududa pa. Pero lahat po ng buong mundo, except South America, ay abot na ng Dongfeng missile technology. At ang susunod na slide na pinakita ng parada, ito po siya. Ayan po, noong 1984, DF-5. Ngayon, Dongfeng 61. Ano ang ibig sabihin? Sa paglalahad ni Victor Gao 2 nights ago, doon sa aming Manila Forum sa BGC, 61 is a symbol for 60 nuclear warheads and 1 hydrogen bomb in a single ballistic missile, which when launched will open up and deliver 61 mobile independent vehicles, MIRVs, that will go into 61 destinations. So just 1 ballistic missile ang makalusot. Wala na po ang Estados Unidos. Nung makita yan ni Trump, in a few days, in-announce na nila, wala na tayo sa China threat. Our defense perimeter will now be the homeland and the Western Hemisphere. Momentarily, yan po ang sitwasyon ngayon ng peace natin. Medyo makakahinga tayo ng kaunti dahil we can anticipate na mawawala na ang suporta ng mga Amerikano sa Philippine military. And alam nyo naman, no, na yung Philippine military naging branch na ng Romualdez Financial Network. No? So wala na rin tayong aasahan, kundi ang talagang kung sino ang magiging traore dito sa ating bansa. With that, I open myself to an open forum. Maraming salamat po.